Welcome back to another edition of Arizona Wildcats Insiders Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Hutchison, and right now we are near the end. We're getting to the weekend of Arizona's bye week. They're coming off of an impressive 3-0 start with a win over Kansas State, 23-16, where the Wildcats dominated on the defensive side of the football. Yes, Kansas State scored 17 points, but, however, some of those points came on a blocked punt, set up the other Wildcats, easy touchdown. The other one came on a muff punt for 3 points, so that's 10 points right there. Realistically, the defense really only gave up 7 points in that game. Tremendous defensive effort. They held KSU to 193 total yards. Meanwhile, offensively, the Wildcats, even though they just scored 23 points, a lot of penalties hurt them in that regard. It could have easily been 31, 38 points in the game for Arizona, but they shot themselves in the foot. A couple missed field goal opportunities as well. But however, the running game was phenomenal. Ishmael Mahdi, 189 yards. I'll repeat that, 189 yards, plus 32 yards receiving. He outgained Kansas State all by himself. He had 221 yards of total offense. Very impressive game for the transfer running back. Meanwhile, No Fafita, 176 yards. It doesn't pop out at you. The completion percentage wasn't great, but he did what needed to be done to win that game, and he was able to kill KSU with his legs, rushing for 48 yards, finding the end zone twice for 2 rushing touchdowns. And here's the most important thing. Here's the thing that if this lasts the whole entire year, obviously it's not going to, but if it trends in a positive manner, Arizona's going to be a bowl team and a serious contender for the Big 12 championship game. And that's that he didn't turn the football over. He has 0 turnovers on the year and 8 touchdowns. That's impressive. I don't care who you are. I don't care that he hasn't fully gotten in the passing game yet. He's growing in that with the new offensive system with Seth Dagey. To not turn the football over and not shoot your team in the foot, not shoot yourself in the foot, that's half the battle. Just don't do that, and you're going to win a lot of football games. Now, that's easier said than done, and Kansas State had a formidable defense that caused some issues, and that's really the true first defensive test they faced. But if you're able to continue to grow, this Arizona offense is going to be very scary. Right now, they're averaging 37 points per game, which is 40th nationally. Those numbers are going to even out. I think if you average around 37 points per game, and I might be wrong, but I think Jed Fish in 2023 and 2022, they averaged around 38 a game, and they're a top 25 offense. I think Arizona can average around 38 a game as well and be a top 25, top 15 offense. I mean, they have that type of offensive capability, that type of firepower. So very impressive job by Arizona, by Brett Brennan, turning things around, 3-0 start, halfway to a bowl game. And there's been a lot of bold predictions. You have Arizona being put in the Sun Bowl a couple times by a couple of different outlets. You have them in the Holiday Bowl. Who doesn't love a good old Holiday Bowl showdown? You have them in the Vegas Bowl, LA Bowl. You're seeing it all right now. One of my personal favorites is the Alamo Bowl, and Arizona fans love that bowl game after 2023, upsetting Oklahoma and taking down that historic power in that game. So they're trending in the right direction. This bye week's an important week for Arizona to get healthy and get some things right offensively, and most importantly, just rest. Get these guys some rest. Get them on a good foot for next week against Iowa State. Don't overwork them. And then lastly is recruiting. It's a big recruiting week for the coaching staff. They get to go out there. They're going to be out in California and Sacramento and LA. Brennan and Seth Dagey are going to the LA area. Danny Gonzalez is going to Sacramento. They're going to go out to Hawaii. I think Joe Salavea is taking care of the Hawaii aspect there. And then they're probably going to hit up Texas as well and hit up in the state. They got to hit up in the state as well. So it's a very important recruiting weekend for Arizona. A lot of good things going there. But as we get closer to the calendar turning to October, we're closer to Arizona basketball. You can hear the ball bouncing out in Tucson, Arizona. And yes, football is trending in the right direction. But what does this town love? It's a football town. It is a basketball town. Correction, did not mean to say that. It's a basketball town. This town lives, eats, breathes, sleeps college basketball. And we're getting closer to the start of the season. We're 44 days away. Which is Reggie Geary days away from the start of the season. We have seen Arizona announce that they're going to have a exhibition game against St. Mary's. That's going to be really entertaining, even though that's, again, that doesn't count towards the regular season. And we're getting closer to the Red and Blue game in Big 12 Media Day. So things are rolling and rolling fast for Arizona basketball. And they just released, finally, their 2025-2026 non-conference schedule. And man, is it loaded. What took so long for them to get it done? Because, again, there's over 280 or so teams that have already done this thus far, is they're waiting for the contract to get settled with Norfolk State, trying to set that date. There's some conflicting scheduling issues there. So Arizona got that job done. However, that game does not have an official date yet, but they got the contract done, so they're able to announce the schedule. So let's look at Arizona's schedule real quick. And this is a loaded schedule. Tommy Lloyd is not shy about playing great teams. He's not shy about playing great programs. You saw it the last couple of years. Last year, the magnitude of playing Duke at home in Wisconsin and teams like that. I mean, it was a gauntlet. UCLA and Phoenix. This season, it doesn't get any easier for the Cats. They start off the year in Vegas, kicking off Monday night, the college basketball season, against defending national champions, Florida Gators, in T-Mobile Arena. For every Arizona Wildcat fan out there, you know how T-Mobile Arena turns into McHale North. Tremendous venue, tremendous atmosphere out there in Vegas. What an exciting way to start the college basketball season. Then you got some games at home against Utah Tech and Northern Arizona. Okay. And then a neutral site game out in LA, the Intuit Dome, home of the Clippers, as Arizona takes on arch rival UCLA. This is going to be the second of 3 games these two teams are playing in a 4-year series. Next year, I do believe, is the year that they're going to miss a game, but then it goes to Vegas after this. But UCLA in the Intuit Dome, in the Intuit Arena, Arizona Wildcats versus the UCLA Bruins. It doesn't get better than that. The Bill Walton Classic, we can call it. And then Arizona travels out east to take on UConn, who has won back-to-back national championships a couple years prior. Obviously, Florida broke that up, but the UConn Huskies, the tradition, they're 100% a blue blood of college basketball. That's a true blue blood. Danny Hurley has that program running. They're an elite level program. It'll be exciting games. You come home right before Christmas, you take on Denver. Again, the game to be announced in terms of a date, though, is Norfolk State. And then all of a sudden, the biggest home game of the year for Arizona, the Auburn Tigers come running to Tucson in a cat fight as the Wildcats and Tigers hit it off here. Bruce Pearl has that program rolling. You talk about a guard-oriented program. Bruce Pearl has that. Arizona being historically a guard U. It's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be high-tempo, up-tempo basketball, scoring left and right. It's going to be a great game to watch. Then all of a sudden, Arizona goes to Birmingham, Alabama. They travel back to Alabama with Auburn, and in 7 days after that Auburn game, they take on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, over the last couple of years, Alabama has a tremendous basketball program. Nate Oates has that team rolling. He has that program rolling. He's one of the best coaches in the country. I think he would have been a perfect fit in Tucson if timing happened where, Sean was let go a little bit sooner. He probably would have been a candidate for Arizona. Tommy's a terrific coach in his own right as well. But this is going to be a battle of 2 power programs and a battle of 2 great coaches. Again, very guard-oriented. We saw with Spears last season at Alabama how much of an impact he had on the Crimson Tide. It's going to be a tremendous game. I can't wait for that one. They come back home, take on Albany Christian on the 16th. Then they head up north to Phoenix, take on the San Diego State Aztecs in Talking Stick Resort Arena. That is going to be a terrific game. You talk about West Coast basketball at its best. It's UCLA, Arizona. It's Gonzaga, Arizona, but it's also San Diego State and Arizona as well. I'm of one to believe that believes Arizona should always play every single year. UCLA, Gonzaga. Sorry, Tommy. You got to play Gonzaga. You got to do it. San Diego State, New Mexico, UNLV. I think those programs represent the West Coast the best. Those games are always bloodbaths and always gritty. You got to have those games on the schedule. So I love seeing San Diego State on the schedule. And then the non-conference finishes up with Bethune-Cookman and South Dakota State. Now, South Dakota State's not going to raise any eyebrows for people, but they're usually a good three-point shooting team. They usually have veteran leadership. They usually have 5 guys that are seniors that are starting. They're going to be probably a tournament team. So it's not going to be an easy game. Do I think Arizona wins by 20-plus points? Yes. But I think it's a game that is a little gritty, which is perfect right before the start of Big 12 play. So you have San Diego State and South Dakota State giving you that grittiness right before Big 12 play. I think that's a perfect schedule. Arizona is going to have a lot of fun with this schedule. If Arizona goes, 9-2, 10, whatever the record is, 9 to 12 wins and that mark, what an incredible job during the non-conference. Last year we saw them below 500 at one point. They were able to bounce back. It's not easy when you play these teams, but what it does, it sets you up for the conference play. It sets you up for the Big 12. It gets you ready for Big 12 basketball, and eventually that gets you ready for the tournament. So we'll have more Arizona Wildcat coverage as the days move along. As we get closer to kickoff against Iowa State, we'll have more football coverage. But again, Arizona basketball is right around the corner, and there's nothing better than UA Hoops in Tucson, Arizona.